Hey everyone, welcome back to the video series of Amazon Data Analytics Specialty. Hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. In today's video, we will be discussing about the versioning and replication in Amazon S3. So without further ado, let's start. In the last video, I mentioned about the S3 built-in features and integrated services, which help to maintain the security of S3 bucket. Versioning and bucketing are part of it. So let's start with the versioning. Versioning is a feature in S3 that allow us to keep multiple versions of the object in the same bucket. As we can see in this image, that a file named cat.jpg, 3 different versions are uploaded into the bucket. Version 1 with the ID 1, 2, and the third one we are uploading here. When versioning is enabled for S3 bucket, each time you upload a new version of the object, previous versions retained, not overwritten, as we can see in this image. Even when the object is deleted, then a new version is created called delete marker, which we'll talk about it in a bit. And S3 automatically generates a unique ID for each version. So for the explanation or for simplification point of view, we just gave them version ID 1, 2 kind of thing. But when we do the demo, or we'll see in the real world, like S3 automatically generate a unique identifier for each version, which we'll see in the demo. Any bucket can be in one of these 3 states related to versioning. So the first one is the versioning disabled. That's the by default state. So whenever we create a bucket and we don't change anything, its versioning is disabled by default. The second is the versioning enabled, and third is suspended. After versioning is enabled, it can never be disabled, but we can suspend the versioning in that bucket. Versioning applies to all the objects in the bucket. We can't filter out to specific objects. It is applicable to all objects. The one thing we need to keep in mind, the objects that are stored in the bucket before enabling have version ID null. So what it means, like let's say we created a bucket with the default settings, so versioning was disabled. We uploaded a bunch of or a few files to it. And after that, if we override these files, so let's say if we upload same file again after enabling our versioning, the version ID for previously, version ID of the files which are uploaded before enabling the versioning will be null. Delete marker. So when we delete a version of an object, S3 create a delete marker, which is a special kind of object that represents a deleted version of the object. The main benefit of the delete marker is that they allow you to create a deleted version of an object, and if you need it in future, we can do this as simply deleting the delete marker, which can restore the object back. I'll demonstrate that in the demo. Let's look into the benefits of versioning. So one of the obvious benefit of versioning is the data protection. So data protection from any accidental deletion and overrides. Second is the audit trail. It provides an audit trail from that point of view. If somebody changed something, we can track it back. Rollback is another benefit in case of any accidental, like anything is overwritten or anything is changed by mistake. Collaboration is something where like it's pretty same as like GitHub, where like multiple people working on the same code and nobody's worrying about their changes will be overwritten. So here also, like people can work on same piece of let's say data or document, and they won't be worrying about like losing their changes and their changes getting overwritten. And last, it could be a compliance requirement. They want to keep all the version in the record. Okay, so now let's jump to the demo. Oh, my bad. So we'll first start with AWS console. sorry about this. I should have logged in. So I'll log in it as a root user here. Okay, let me change it. Sign it as a root user. I have multi-factor authentication is enabled, so I need to enter the code from my phone. Give me 1 second. And don't worry about this code keeps changing in every minute. Okay, so once we log in into our management console, let's go to S3. So we'll start with creating a new bucket, and where the versioning will be disabled by default. So let's create a new bucket. We'll name it data tech demo 20. We keep rest of the things same, and as I said, like the only thing we are worried we are concerned here is the bucket in the versioning. We will start with disable because I want to show you the point which I mentioned. The objects which are stored in the bucket before enabling the version will have version ID null. So I want to show you that. So we'll keep everything exact like as it is, and here we know that bucket versioning is by default is disabled. We created, we are lucky. So let's go into this and upload a file. We click on this, add a file. Let's go to desktop, hello world, upload. Okay, now go to the bucket. So as we know, the versioning is disabled by default, so there is only one file. So if we upload, click upload again, it will create, I'll just want to show you, like it will do nothing, it will just overwrite the existing file. Okay, and I'll show you the difference. So like here, like look at this where the cursor is, like you don't see any toggle button or anything here. Okay, this is basically one file and which is getting overwritten. So let's now jump to the property and enable the versioning. I click on this, edit, enable, save changes, and if you go to our object, you will see the show version here. So this by default is off, so we can turn it on. Click on this and you can see the version ID is null. So it goes back to that point. Objects that are stored in a bucket before enabling the version have version ID null. And now let's go again and upload the same file, and let's click on this. So we just keep uploading the same file, but for S3, this is for demo purposes, but basically for S3 these are like different versions. So if you click on show version, you will find two files here. So look at this. This is the old file before that was stored before enabling the versioning, and this is the new file we enable. So the difference here, I want to show you, anything before their ID will be null, but anything after enabling, a unique and automatic unique identifier will be generated by S3. Okay, and we can do one more thing. Let's okay, let's go to a different bucket. I just want to show you how the content change will impact. Why I'm not picking this bucket, because like it's not public, so I need to change a bunch of permissions there. I already have a bucket where few things are already, sorry, let me go to 222, which is public, have everything in there. So if I click on show version, so you can see that, one second, let me close this. So you can see that there are two files which they have only one version, that's their current version, but for hello world.txt we have 4 versions, and this is our current version. And if we go and check, this was null basically like it was before enabling, and I just want to show you, because in both of versions I have a different text. If I go click on this, open the URL, so you see version 0 is here, but if I go back and check the current version, so in that, if I go here, one second, click on this, sorry, my bad, let me show version. This is the current version, and close this. If I go in the current version, let me check the permissions first. Okay, we have read permissions, click on property, and if we open this in new tab, so this is a version 1. So basically when I uploaded the first file, I kept the name, the text was version 0, then we changed it. And let's do it again. Let's go to the desktop, one second, very quickly. And this is a very basic text file where we have hello AWS and then version we just pointed out. So let's update this to 2, Control S. So changes are there. We go here and click on this. If we upload this, this will going to be the 5th version of this file. We already have 4 versions. Click on this, upload. We go to our bucket, show versions, and if we go into this, first we need to change the permissions because currently it's not accessible publicly, so we'll switch it. We give them permissions, and I understand, save changes, and let's go to this URL one more time, and you will see, okay, you will say why we changed it to version 2, why it's version 2, but we just need to refresh and you will see the file is updated now. And we can do it here too. Just want to make sure. So this is how, like, we have multiple versions of the files. We can keep in version files. It's just by default this toggle button is off. We need to turn it on to see, and version ID is important. Different versions that can be used for different use cases. The other thing I want to talk about here is the delete marker. So let's say if we delete the hello world file, just copy paste delete, remove the space, delete the object. If we go to the bucket, so you see we don't see any delete, but if we click on show version, you will see, and if I close this, you will see the current version is the delete marker. So basically delete marker is, as I mentioned, it is a deleted version of the object, and the main benefit of this delete marker is that it allows us to recover the deleted version of the object. So basically if we go here and delete this delete marker, it will recover the last version of hello world. Let's do that. Click on delete, type permanently delete here. Let's copy this here. If we go here and see, so we got the hello world.txt because the delete marker was the deleted version and that was the current version, but we deleted that, so the version before that becomes the latest and it will recover that file. Okay, so now let's jump to our slides again and look into the replication. Okay, the next thing is the replication. So replication, it basically allows us to automatically and asynchronously replicate data across different S3 buckets. It helps us to achieve higher level of durability, availability, and fault tolerance for the data. And replication is a very used case in cases of, like, it's a very popular one for disaster recovery. And in some cases it's like it's due to the compliance, we need to replicate the data, like compliance to meet with the regulatory requirements. For example, you need to keep the various copy data, local data copy in various centers. So in AWS there are 2 types of replication. One is the cross region replication and the other one is the same region replication. So if you look at the image on the screen, so cross, like you can see there is one is source bucket and the destination bucket, which is very intuitive by name, is like, okay, from one source we copy it to other source. And basically what cross region, it copy S3 buckets across the Amazon regions. So if you look at this, if one bucket or the source bucket is in US East while the destination bucket is in US West SMS. So it copies S3 object across multiple regions representing geographically separate Amazon data centers. So East and West will be definitely like a separate Amazon centers. So that's like we replicating this data on one side of the US to the other, like from one data center to the other. And the same reason as the name says, like it copies the object between the buckets that's available within the like different availability zone of the same Amazon region. So what basically means in US East, we will have multiple availability zones. So it copy within that. And here you can see the source and destination have same availability zone or Amazon region that's called, Amazon region that's US East, and here also US East. It is important to note that S3 replication is asynchronous process, which may take time to replicate data. So that we need to keep in mind, like that's very important. And the other thing is like there are a few things which we need to keep in mind from exam point of view is versioning must be enabled on both source and destination bucket, then only we can do the replication. Otherwise, we won't be able to do the replication. S3 replication is only one way from source to destination. It's not the other way. Like you can't copy, let's say if we upload files in our source bucket, it will be copied into destination. But if we upload any file or object to the destination, it won't be copies to source. And replication will work with encrypted object using S3 and SSE KMS, which are the default ones, and lifecycle events or objects from Glacier or Glacier Deep Archive will not be replicated. So these are the few things we need to keep in mind from the exam point of view. Let's jump to the demo of our application, which is very straightforward and very intuitive. Let's go to the console. One second, there it is. And let's go to buckets. Let's go to S3 and the buckets. And as I said, like one thing is very important from exam, the versioning need to be enabled. So as we know, like data, let's take this one. This is the new one which we created. So let's go to management, click on management, scroll down. Here you see replication rules. So click on create replication rules, give it a name. Let's give it replication demo. Sorry, my bad. Enable rest of the keep same. So this is the source bucket. So in this case, data tech demo 2.2 is this is the reason. And then you can choose whether you want to replicate all the objects, or one we will keep it to all object, or we can keep it default. I'll do it to all object and destination. Then after that we have to select the destination, and destination bucket can be from my account, like from this account, or it could be from another account. So if we click on this is the account ID which defines from which it is coming. So for the demo purposes, we will pick a bucket from this account, and that's the same reason replication. So let's browse and let's take this 2222, choose path. Then we have to select a IAM role. So let's choose from existing one. Let's pick a one for, and then we can like encrypt the objects on the replicated, like we can encrypt the replicated objects, but we're going to keep everything same. Like we're not changing anything. We keep everything default. But the one thing we need to keep in mind is like the source destination, the source bucket and the destination bucket. So after that, click on save. And after this is also another thing, like it will ask like, do you want to replicate existing objects or not? So recommendation from AWS, don't replicate existing document. That's why like it is the first option, but if you want to replicate, then it will be done through like a one-time batch operation, which we need to like we need not to worry about at this point. But we need to keep in mind like we can replicate existing objects too and are ongoing. So let's keep it whatever is. Click on submit. Awesome. If we go to demo, management, and now you can see that we have a there's like a bunch of other properties we can select, like storage class, who will be the owners and all, like who will be the owner of replicated documents, but like documents or objects. But for here is basically I kept everything to default. If so, now onwards, if we add an object here, it will be replicated to this 222 and as I mentioned, like it's a asynchronous replication. So if anything, let's say if we upload something here, that like it won't be available right away. So for example, if we upload this file, click on upload, successful. If you go to the bucket again, you will find these two. But if you go to the destination one, and that's I'm not sure like if I uploaded this, but you see this is like old file because the current time is 7:58. Here is 6:38 or something. So if you click on refresh, like it won't show because it will take time. It's not something which happen synchronously. It will take time. So that's all for this video. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and keep supporting the channel. Have a good one.